Looks like the red light's lit here. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Early in the morning on a Monday with your Monday locker room back at it, infidels. Rise and shine, because first things first, man, you're fucking with the worst. I'll be sticking pins in your head like a fucking nurse. I'll attack any infidel who's slack as Mac. Come fully packed with the fruit rugged stack. Shame on you when you step through two old infidels straight from the Brooklyn Zoo, and I'll be damned if I let any man come to my center. You enter the winter, infidels. And now it's about to get cold in here, but not really, because we're going to turn up the heat with the man beast, RBV, back in your house, because that's right, I won another house, just what I needed, some more property taxes. YOLO. Oh, man, early morning to you all, guys. Thanks for waking up with us here. HackerHamin.podbean.com, Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman is the next milestone starts to come into view, and we are just pressing on the gas to get there even quicker, approaching 2 million. Super excited. A lot of things coming your way, guys. Russo brand, some big stuff there with YouTube going down as well. So it's all systems go, man. But right now, it's all systems go for this schoolboy. Looks like he's got to get out there. The physical fitness training this morning. He's got his Nike gear on. He's looking good. How you doing this morning, RBV?
Feeling great. Monday mornings now, it's pretty much, now that we're going live each and every Monday morning, you pretty much have killed my Sunday fun days.
That's okay.
Now I got to be responsible. I got to be home. I got to be in bed early. But I'm up early now. Hey, I actually got a workout in this morning. Got most of my laundry done.
I can tell you look good, man.
Day going, man.
You look healthy, man. I really like.
Hold on, wait. Let's get one thing straight. That's not the way of the worker, man. You can, if anything, you go extra hard on show nights. You need to be pulling benders till 4 a.m. and then getting up and being here with us. That's the right way of the road, Rick Vickery. You got to learn eventually, man.
That's your young chipper self there, Beast. I don't have that left in me anymore. Okay, my mind says yes, the body is not willing. But I did go out Saturday. Saturday was the fun in the sun, a little too much sun with too many cocktails. So I'm feeling the burn right now. So I can actually feel that. So I'm got all the oils and lotions, trying to get myself back to normal here, but I'm ready to go.
Well, you look good, man. I'm glad you're becoming that executive producer and marketing master that you're striving to be every day, putting in that work. It's all going to pay off like everything does. And, maybe we will have to get together and get a little nasty if we can ever get the girls back out there. Maybe we'll invite Katie Forbes, ODB, and Tracy Brooks, and we'll get this old married bastard back out there, and we'll party it up one night while the ladies are out. Yeah, we'll do our own thing when we're on vacation together, man, Beast. You're looking good this morning, man. Looks like you went and raided Al Barone's closet. You look like you're ready to do some mafia work, brother.
M-O-B. We're everywhere. Capiche? Forget about it. Have you ever had Al Barone on one of your shows?
I haven't, and I think it's an absolute must, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It's really the hard point at this point. You have so many shows. Like, which one do you have them on?
Hamin. That's what I did with bowling yesterday. I think Al Barone's a great, because it's just for me to celebrate people that, I mean, not that bowling doesn't get a lot of shine, but like he's been wanting to do something, and I was like, let's just have a good conversation there. That's what Hamin's for. Or to go to my masters. I've got to get ripped. That's one I'm working on real quick here to do an episode of as well. So definitely that's a great one, Al Barone, for sure, man. And if you don't know Al Barone, you can go to my YouTube channel and just look up Al Barone. There's also a best of Al Barone playlist.
You're in for a treat if you have not seen Al Barone. And let me tell you, this man eats, sleeps, and breathes that gimmick. He's a one of a kind individual.
Yeah.
Well, even now to this day, I legitimately don't know the work he did, other than I know he would work like security work, and he would basically help influence people to pay off their bills, and that's really all I know about the work he does. But so he legit is he lived the gimmick to a degree, but hell of a nice guy. You would never know, but he's a one of a kind dude for sure.
Dude, he's legit out of Godfather too. Like in a seat in the whole locker room of young people. Al, still chasing his dreams from Canada and worked a lot of years, has a lot of jobs like that, and broke a lot of thumbs, I'm sure. But
you have to if you talk to him though, you have to ask him about, because I know he'll tell it. He loves to tell the story about when he met Vince McMahon.
Okay.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I will. I'll ask him. I'll do the whole thing. Cyber Viking.
Yes,
all
yes.
of
it. Just to preface the excitement, because I don't think fans realize that I will tune in for that show for sure.
Al Barone is legit out of like Central Casting, bro. 100% Paisan. Did the whole mob gimmick, and you know me, I'm a mob fanatic when it comes to everything mob movies, Sopranos, and he's limited in his athleticism, but he's whatever it is in that, and not that he can't, he just doesn't need to. You see him with these kids, and you're like, this guy will kill these people. He would just annihilate them. So we just gave him a heart punch because it was easy, and you hit the music. Yeah, go ahead.
The one time we did have him do moves, he almost killed Fang. But we're like, all right, let's do the hard punch from now on.
That's it. We tried. And then, dude, we flipped the look to black and white. We'd hit the Godfather theme, and he'd come through the curtain, and it was made, dude. It was a minute and a half segment, and that's all you needed to know Al Barone was in the house. We'd have a whole match with two green guys, let them pull 6-7 minutes, and then at the end, you hit Al Barone's music, and he comes out and lays them both out.
Well, you gave Al Barone the best. Talking about playing a character, the height of his intelligence. What would a mafia style character do in a show about students that are paying their dues to be there? He was the dues collector.
Yeah.
He was the person, if you didn't pay your dues,
he would fuck
he
you
came
up.
out and he beat your ass, and he took your money, because you got to pay your dues to be part of the wrestling school. And because that was essentially the point of DCW, and that was the interesting part of the show, is you knew everyone on the show was training to be a wrestler in a sense, and that was part of the gimmick of the show. So he was the dues collector, mafia man. It was incredible.
Rip Rogers sent me to collect dues, and that's why you haven't paid up. You got money? He shake the fucking kid down and pull his pockets out. That ain't enough. Give me your pants. And he'd take the fucking pants off him. I forgot about it. Dude, I love that shit. That was.
I think it's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on my YouTube,
Benny
bro.
Bray strip down to his skivvies and say, now look at the camera and say I'm an idiot. And then he punches him.
And then he punches him out.
That was it.
Dude,
it was incredible.
That's it, dude.
Good stuff.
That was, and he lives in Toronto. He's still great friends with Santino. You can find him at Battle Arts, and he also, this pops me because he runs a as far as mob shit goes, a mattress store, and like going to the mattresses is a mob thing for when you got to go get the guns and get ready to go to war, or if you're bugging out of town, we're going to the mattresses where your money is so you can leave. But like the fact that he now runs a mattress store, and I just tried to give him everything. And here's the thing, he was so like everybody else, kind of like the over guys who were signed looked at him as a rib. They liked him, but they looked at him as a rib. Not me, man. I saw so much value in that dude. For him to be in wrestling, you could put him in that new Sopranos movie that's coming out, like any of that shit, and he would look so credible, so instant. And he was so grateful. And I said, Al, no, I'm the grateful one. You're an amazing paintbrush to get to paint with in a scene, because I could create all these other scenes, or we could. I don't want to say Man Beast Revolver and I could create all these other scenes. And then, dude, here comes the Al Barone just out of nowhere. That was so much fun to play with and to be able to have that to switch. And he was so grateful for it, too, because he wasn't putting himself as an older man in harm's way to be doing some dumb shit. We never made him look weak. He always looked fucking awesome, and he didn't need no belt. He had his part on the show, dude, and I'm forever grateful. Manley O'Clousey, a great guy who might have some old school ways that make him seem very strange. Like, I don't want to say Luca Brasi character in Godfather, because he's not slow, man. He's not slow like Luca was. But, dude, you want to talk about you could switch one for the other, like in those scenes, that's who you're fucking with. How are you supposed to go send a 140-pound student to go out to face Luca Brasi and pull 10 minutes? It ain't happening, Jackson. So it was super fun to get to create that way. And I forgot about him, Pants and Benny. That's all on there, man. If you go to my YouTube, Al Barone, forget about it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Como Pecco Leone. What is it? It's better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a lamb. Como Pecco Leone. I can't even get the Italian right, but dude, I don't want to butcher it. But that was like in the locker room where he goes, a lamb, a lion, or a lamb. Like that was the catchphrase for everybody for a year in the car. You close the door, a lamb.
I'm going to say this: if you ever have like a Hamin media group, like an audio watermark, like a 20 to 30 second, a promo thing for your shows, absolutely, you got to have Al Barone in there at some point.
Oh yeah, sure, man. I will get some stings from him. Absolutely. I'm gonna work on that in the next 24 hours.
You're getting a lot of good sound bites. I might have to create a soundboard just from that interview alone.
Well, we have a possible deal with Rhodes Microphones, and because of what Stevie and Russo did, they're going to send equipment. So I might get Stevie's Rodecaster because he's going to get a new one. So we'll have a whole soundboard, and that'd be awesome to have all those guys on there, man. Sorry to keep going over the conversation with good old days stuff, man, but this shit is important to me. It's way better locker room talk, I think, than all the news and headlines, but I'm sure we'll get to it.
Well, and the thing is that we're not talking about things that people can't witness for themselves. Just go to YouTube and Al Barone will speak for himself.
Yeah, I like one of my favorite clips that I have up there, and I put it a couple times. It's not as a fuck you to people, but like when people are shocked by something in wrestling. Remember when Twink first got there and he did the BBC thing and he had his film?
And we're speaking of Twinkle Toes, the BBC announcer from England who came here to work with us. Yes,
and he was my roommate
when he was doing. Yes.
So this is like the second or third workout, and Twink's he's never been in shape. He's not an athlete, but he's a big son of a bitch, dude. Like he can kick the top.
Oh, yeah.
He's 6'5", 6'6", and he can kick the top of a door frame easily. Like with ease, bro. But he's probably 3.5. You know what I mean? He's a couple stone. Yeah. But
we always rib him like, Twink, how's the diet work? He's like, just sociable.
Yeah, so we had a couple chicken wings.
Like I was vegan last week.
Yeah, he's so big, but he's like such like a soft dude. Like, but you love.
He talks
him
like Winnie the Pooh.
Yes,
basically.
Pretty much. He's like 6'6" Winnie the Pooh. That's great. But there's one shot where Twink's all blown up from chain wrestling. He just puked in the corner and he comes back and fucking and Twink goes, oh, and they pan up to Al Barone is in the ring, sweat pouring off. He goes, welcome to professional wrestling. And that's it, bro. Twink, they pan down to Twink and he's fucking done. Like that is the epitome of Al Barone. Like that is the it. Welcome to professional wrestling.
I like the Twink impression there too. It's like if anyone played Super Mario 64 when you had Super Mario was low on life and he was just going.
Yeah, he does sound. I gotta go to my channel and find that now. Go ahead, somebody take it. I gotta find that Barone.
I was saying the simplicity here is what is what you can take from this. Anyone that is kind of like, okay, what the hell are these guys talking about? There's a lot to learn here. Because everyone's today is they got to get all these spots in and go over the top of everything. Simplicity is what sells, and it's what you talk about all those years later. It's what you remember.
Playlists: Best of Al Barone, Best of or Worst of Hog Wild. I should rename that one. Oh fuck!
Rip Rogers has given me the strict authorization to make an example, to make a sacrificial lamb.
A lamb. Where's the
a lamb?
There it is.
A lamb, bro.
Welcome to professional
That's
wrestling.
it. That's it. I'm trying to bring it up here, but in the chat room,
just deadpan.
Yeah, dude, that's everything. But you can go right on my YouTube, Ben Hamin, and the playlist, Al Barone Words of Wisdom, if you just want to look it up. Phenomenal.
So good.
Phenomenal.
I'll tell you what's not good is some bad jokes. You in the morning?
Oh yeah, man. Let's switch gears. It's your Monday morning monologue with a man beast in the bow tie, baby. He's back.
That's right. A lot's going on in the world, so let's take a couple minutes to not take things so seriously for some bad wrestling jokes to start off your week. So our first story of the day is, it looks like on last week's Talk is Jericho, Kurt Hawkins talked about his return to the WWE, which led to his losing streak and why he pushed for it to continue. Unfortunately, the losing streak did eventually come to an end, but really, when you think about it, although it ended in a way, it was never truly over. But what has just begun may be Wade Barrett's movie career. Evolutionary Films has announced the upcoming release of the new action movie I Am Vengeance Retaliation, scheduled to hit British theaters on July 13th. The film stars former WWE superstar Stu Bennett, a.k.a. Wade Barrett, alongside Vinnie Jones. When asked his thoughts, Wade Barrett proclaimed that this is good news for his movie career. Unfortunately, it looks like bad news for Elias. On WWE SmackDown, they are running an angle where Elias was the victim of a hit and run, with Jeff Hardy arrested as the suspect, although he was later cleared of all charges. During a recent edition of WWE's The Bump, they offered an update on Elias, noting he has a torn pectoral muscle and broken ribs. Remind me to talk about this later, by the way. The pectoral muscle is a stupid muscle to tear for that reason, and I want to talk about why, but that's beside the point. Torn pectoral muscle and broken ribs, I say. And he has been discharged from the hospital, luckily. Meanwhile, WWE.com ran a poll asking fans who the real suspect is, because as we all know, in the United States, you are innocent until voted guilty in an online social media poll. Speaking of politics, Matt Morgan, currently serving as Longwood, Florida mayor, is now running for county commissioner in Seminole County. When asked what his plans were for the county, Matt Morgan said that he doesn't not only have a plan, but he also has a blueprint. The WWE Network recently aired a special about the Nexus, actually yesterday, Sunday, June 7th, looking at the group's best moments. Personally, though, I think a potential marketing opportunity was missed, as they should have offered free neckties for new subscribers. And last but not least, Wrestling Inc. reports the talent that was used to form the crowd on Raw last week had to be told via the in-house PA system to be more enthusiastic after they were reportedly sluggish before the show, having already sat through 205 Live and Main Event, which were taped prior to Raw. It's unknown who the person on the PA who gave the instructions for the crowd to be livelier was, but it reportedly was like a parent talking down to a child. And word is, if they keep up this kind of attitude, they aren't going to get a Happy Meal, and they can instead go straight to the room when we get home. You know what? That's it. I'm turning this car around. This has been your Monday morning monologue. You ungrateful little bastards. Get back there.
Man, you did it. You set him off, RBV, with all your crying and whining. You just had to get a Happy Meal again. Jesus. Yeah, man beast. All right, calm down, buddy. Calm down. I know.
That's it. I'm going to call Bill DeMott. He's babysitting them from now on.
That's it. Forget about it.
And we'll see who's laughing. We're going to see who's laughing.
Oh, man. Excellent as always. Yeah, you went for the blueprint. I always go for the stuttering Matt Morgan. That's my favorite. But good.
Sometimes I get hot because I feel like that's my gimmick, the mama.
Yeah, right.
Mama.
Well, you could be, right as a sidekick on him. You could pick that up while he does the blueprint stuff. I think get all the gimmick in. Why not? He's going to need an assistant if he gets that job down there. So killing it on the politics front. Stu Bennett, the good stuff there. Happy for him.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
I'm so happy for him. Great dude, great worker, and I hope maybe sometimes you fall into these roles and you don't know. It's all about networking. It always is in a way. It's about who you know. It's like. And you do good quality work for one thing and make the right connection, and you don't know where it's going to lead you. I mean, look at Batista, who, I think when he first started getting into movies, I think a lot of people were laughing, and then all of a sudden he networked into that role with Marvel, and boom, now he's, if anything, he's on his way to being a true bona fide movie star.
He's paid, laid, and made. He's Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I had that shirt, and we were at my brother's graduation party, and my grandmother's like, "Oh, that's a nice shirt. What's it say on the back? Oh, paid, laid, and made. Oh, all right." It was good. Oh, shit, man. Good times, great oldies. What else we got going down, RBV. Man Beast, I don't know if you want to come back to it now. Actually, sorry to cut you off. I know you were hot about tearing the pec muscle there. And I was going to put in, I got a whole theory. I'm not going to lay it out here on that, but on Russo brand about this hit and run thing. What did befuddle me, or what was stupid, is we know it's Sheamus from the get-go, but then, and they already blow it with Jeff Hardy running back in on his own shit. But then, dude, why wasn't Elias hot this week? He's the one who got hit by a fucking car and almost killed, but we didn't see no statement from Elias whatsoever to help support the angle. It's only about Jeff Hardy being fucked up on gimmicks and whiskey, and nothing to do with an actual attempted murder. You go, well, what can you possibly do? Well, you could sue him for vehicular manslaughter, attempted vehicular manslaughter, and fucking conspiracy to whatever, identity or whatever the fucking thing it is, conspire against to set somebody up that way. Like, they didn't follow up with anything. The whole next episode could have been them under the fucking bright lights of getting grilled by a detective, and you could have brought in anybody from Law and Order or whatever. They just zoomed right by it, bro. Just fucking gone. So apparently you can fucking run down Elias with no repercussions as long as you pass the heat on to Jeff Hardy's addiction.
Well, I was going to say, I guess we're starting to gel here a little bit. This is actually the first thing I had that I wanted to talk about this morning, is give it kind of a week to pass here, let everything play out, because, immediately when they dropped this program, it sent so many people, I would say, into an absolute rage, but it was, it ruffled some feathers. People couldn't, how dare they, exploit the real life, demons within inside Hardy. A lot of people weren't really over the top about it. I wanted to give it a little bit of time to play out before we brought it to the table here on Monday mornings. I guess going back to the start, what did you guys think about just from that moment of the presentation of they are playing towards some very well-known real-life demons with Hardy?
Go ahead, Beast.
Well, I have to assume and hope that a conversation was had prior to the story and Jeff was cool with it. And I always feel like when wrestling can be a reflection of real life, it is usually when it's at its best. Now, that being said, if first and foremost, if Hardy, if in any way balked at the angle and didn't want to explore that route because that can potentially be a trigger for an addict, then I would say then certainly then it was shame on them for running the angle. So I'm running under the assumption that he was cool with it. That being said, I almost feel like the opposite. I don't think they were necessarily pushing it enough. I feel like if anything, they went through and dropped it too quickly. I would have personally, though, it's something I don't think the WWE would necessarily do, but I'd even play it up as allow Jeff in his contract to go and work some independent dates and act like, he really, got chick canned and what the hell happened to his career, but still keep him in the back pocket, almost kind of like what they did. Well, Matt, really did get released
what are these
years ago.
what are these independent dates you know about? Where can I get on these?
Well, yeah, you're right. All right, you can't do that right now. But either way, you can still. I felt that though just as quick as oh no, Jeff Hardy's drugs came back. Because here's the thing, they did all these redemption videos with Jeff Hardy over the weeks, and I saw they were posting them on YouTube, and so to me they were telling this story. And you talk about what is he? He is a want, a desire, a need, and to me these videos illustrate a desire, want, and a need for Jeff Hardy to get redemption after all his previous trials. And so what's the one thing that can really pull the rug out from Jeff Hardy from not redeeming himself is his drugs coming into play. Now, obviously they're not going to have him really, have a relapse, but you could have someone put him in a situation to where it looks like he is and place him in a situation where you can get some heat with that. But I feel like just as quick as they did the angle, maybe it was the blowback from it, why they dropped the whole thing with Jeff Hardy. But and usually I'm not as biting with some of the stuff as much as I know sometimes Ben really can want to punch it in there. I'm usually a little more reserved, but this is one where I feel like, no, they should have, assuming again, Jeff was cool with it, they should have punched into it further and really made people wonder whether or not something, had happened. And then ultimately the redemption story is at the end when he does come back and is sober and gets redemption.
Beast, you kind of mentioned it in there. I mean, they run the course of this thing of, oh my gosh, he's off the wagon, he's using again. And by the end of the episode, they kind of clear all that air that he has been, it wasn't him. He's no longer, a suspect in this case. I mean, we were on the whole course of that one episode. Beast, do you think they did so to maybe cover the tracks against that backlash from the social justice movement?
I mean, I don't know. I would think it's certainly a possibility because I could see where that could come off in bad taste. And again, it comes down to, the difference between what is the right storyline option to go with and what is the right business option to go with. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't align the same way. And again, if you're talking about potential sponsors wanting to pull out because you're knocking on addicts, then unfortunately, then that's where the decision to just toss the storyline, unfortunately, supersedes that, because you have to ultimately consider how much, the money that's coming into the business and what's, being needed to keep the business running.
Yeah, I agree with Beast. I like the steer and the reality of it. Now, directing wise, they absolutely shit in their own hands and rubbed it on their face. Like by ending that in one show. They started out with 35-minute great TV. For them, great. I would have shot the whole thing differently. Punk laughed like online and said that when the cop called out Jeff Hardy's name like he was reading a bingo number, like that was just bad. And also to have Renee Young like walking through the crime scene, it was just very wrestling. Whereas you could have shot it from a very special victims unit, like cinematic type style, which they did a goddamn good job with style last night in your house with Cole and what's his name?
Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream. Like that looked phenomenal. Like there's no reason why you couldn't have had that same, not that look, but like very similar, and make it from an EMT's point of view coming through with the gurney to get, and like you see these little flashes and like it's just the cops and you hear Jeff Hardy like as they murmur to each other. And then somebody, hey, over here, and the camera turns and it has that feeling to it, Like instead we get wrestling fourth grade AV club the first time they got a camcorder. That's what this shit feels like to me. So they could be stepping it up if they put the right people in place, but that's Bruce at his height of whatever, listening to some writers, as opposed to having Paradise in there and giving you what we saw there, dude. That's the difference. When you see a sweeping drone shot that fades to black, I'm like, that's my boy. Like that. Instead, we get this, but they tried. Then we go into the back and do a group game that was awesome, where everyone's politicking and Adam Cole's standing on the fucking thing above everybody to make sure he's GM. Or Adam Pearce, not Adam Cole. Well, Adam Cole needs to stand on something, too, to make himself look taller. But Adam Pearce is standing there, and they're all politicking, getting little ribs in back and forth, setting up the business for the whole night in one scene. That was very improv to me. That felt like I fucking wrote that to generate these themes. Then they go right into hot action in a battle royal. There's a couple things that could have switched, but I'm at 35 minutes going, fuck yeah, but they already stooged off kind of that it's Sheamus, whatever. I'm thinking we're going away from it. Sheamus going over with his heat at the end of the night. Here comes fucking Jeff Hardy. Let me dump in my hands and fucking wipe it all over me, dude. Like, it was so rotten. Like, Jamie Noble could go and fucking bail him out in an hour and 20 minutes and get him out of jail on a fucking DUI, bro. No way. Like, that is where I'm like, everybody's fired. How do you get this far in writing TV and not know that that is the absolute wrong, worst move you could possibly make? I'm not going to say I don't care about the repercussions from sponsors and going at addicts or whatever, but if you're going to do that, have it lined up for like a show like Addiction or a halfway house sponsor thing like that, so you can have it on the back end. That's all it takes to protect that shit. Yeah. And then, even at the end of the segment, go dark on something dark and say, do you have trouble with addiction? Dial 1-800 Like, I like that. Do something.
Yeah. If anything, you've then provided also a good service.
Absolutely. To the people. And people say, I do, and even wrestling's telling me I might need help, bro, and I might echo this character, even though I know it's a whodunit. Then we fucking come back, so it's already blown that Sheamus is the guy, right? So you shotgun 6 weeks of TV of what could have Ben, I mean, if you really wanted to get cheesy with it, you can bring back Fandango to do the fucking inspector thing and interview them all. And that's what they would do. But dude, they had a real chance to do some like hit and run and Elias. Why aren't we seeing Elias in the hospital fucked up? Like none of this, dude. Like
he was discharged from the hospital on the kayfabe. Apparently, that was the story. Is like he was already discharged.
Well, let's get it right. It's not a hospital. It's a medical facility.
Yeah, local medical facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the no words, Beast.
Yeah, those are hospital is banned. You're not allowed to say that word. I'm banning a couple words myself this week. Coward. No one's ever allowed to write coward again in a promo or say coward on camera ever again.
Yeah. Before we go too far into that, I had a thought pass by my brain. I was going to just spitball it at you. Mm-hmm. What if they would have done a double swerve and made it seem like, instead of it was, Sheamus was just trying to perpetuate Jeff Hardy because he didn't like, Jeff, but then it turns out for it to be the hacker, and then potentially you could see Ollie doing the more of a heel take on the character and having a feud for a few months with Jeff Hardy.
I wouldn't mind that. Like
that actually might be good.
That's way over their head for them to overtake the car and have it do a hit and run like a Tesla and shit like that, hack into the car. That's fucking phenomenal stuff. But you saw how they produced this. She's walking through the crime scene. Yeah, like I totally love your vision for it, but unless you and I are in charge and have full fucking grip, then that shit's never getting done. That's so far above Bruce's Memphis fucking mindset that they could never pull that off. And even if somebody went and pitched it, they'd be too chicken shit to go to bat for their business to fucking get it
I was going to say, I almost feel like there has to be people there that know better, but I almost feel like it comes down to the culture and I have to imagine, based on what I know, the people that have been through there, that a lot of people I'm sure have fear over whether or not they're going to interject at certain points to say the right thing at the right time, because they also know that could also mean if someone disagrees that they're going to be out the door.
Absolutely, or not. So that's let me hear, Vic, I'm going to steal your thunder. Check out this group mind again. Zack Ryder was just on K100 where they were grilling him about, why he didn't step up, or like they were even calling him, like, not in a bad way, but like a metrosexual. What he was like the OVW FCW factory system. Let's make Randy Ortons. We saw it. We saw them all get signed. We saw how they wanted to make them, and they tried to turn APOC into one of them. They try anybody, right, that they could try and crank out one. So he was even going to bat and like saying, yeah, I just never went in and knocked on. I wasn't a man. I was young at the time. And even I guess at the end, I just didn't stand up and go in and knock on Vince's door and say, what are we doing? So he's trying to, even then, not politic to keep his job, but say like, I just went along to get along. And I guess, I had a check for all these years and now I don't. But then they tried to shoot that Mandy Rose and Otis scene.
I saw that.
At his house. They asked Chelsea Green, his lady, could they shoot it there, and he told him to fuck off. He vetoed it. I'm not saying that was anybody we know. I'm wondering if it is, but now that's the hill you want to die on after you're gonna fucking, because now the Ink's probably signed on the AEW contract, so he feels empowered to do that. But even on K100, he was still kind of kowtowing to like the biz, but now if he makes that move and Chelsea Green's going to the main roster, are they going to fuck with her? Like, that's another weird thing. If this is a Cold War, why would you have Renee Young that close in things? Why would you be doing this stuff and putting Chelsea Green on the main roster? The Iconics are back on the push and she's with Shawn Spears. Like, there's a lot of things that are like, Pillow Talk is fucking the main pipelines between all of that shit right there, dude.
To add a little bit to the Zack Ryder story there, I guess apparently as he's detailing this, he was actually sitting poolside, enjoying the day, and he notices that Chelsea's very nervous at the time, and she's texting with someone back and forth, and it's the office, and they're asking her, if they can come over and use the pool. At that point, Ryder said he's furious. He is beyond pissed off that they just fire him. They're asking him a favor now. Then he gets a text from his two boys, Miz and Morrison, to say, hey, we're going to swing by. Do you care if we bring Otis with us?
So they were trying to work him.
So and he thought it was a rib because he knew word got out there. He thought it was just his friends And actually, they were bringing Otis over with them. And I think he had mentioned in there, maybe he worked 1 or 2 matches with Otis, but really had never gotten to know him. So they're just bringing this guy suddenly over to the house.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's all an influence from the office, correct? Everybody pulling their strings,
dude.
trying to.
And everybody's boys and like, you know, I'm not trying to stooge off everybody's relationships, but there's producers who are with AEW people, and like, there's so many like back and forth. What the fuck, man? Like, I can see where he'd be like no and be like, what the fuck, totally. But at the same time, to me, he's one of the guys who would be like, yeah, I'll let you do it because I know it's going to earn points for my girl, and you're not going to. But it sounds like she got pressured into a situation, was trying to end around, and then everybody had to buddy, and he's no fucking dummy. He knows he's being worked, and like that's enough to shut it down. If they would have stepped to him on the proper, maybe it wouldn't have gone like that. But what a fucking carny ass like. Why? Why would you, like, they got to shoot something at the 11th hour. They know Chelsea is with them. They have a pool. Maybe he's out of town. Fuck, he's not. Can we work him? All right, who can we get to fucking send him broski messages and fucking try and get it to that point where when we show up in 10 minutes, we're around the corner, he doesn't fucking flip out. Like, isn't that the pressure of the situation, the underlying fucking shit that goes on, instead of either A, finding a fucking Airbnb with a pool and spending $160 for the fucking day to go do your shoot instead of trying to create the shit, or they did that shit on purpose just to fuck up his household, test her and put heat on her to see if she would fucking do it in these little covert cold op war things. All those are possibilities and probabilities that play into the underlying id of this fucking shit.
I feel like from just a business standpoint, I'm just going by speculation because I haven't been in the know, but I know back in the day, you know, they would pull stuff like that to mess with people often. Like, I can't tell you how many guys I would know that isn't necessarily stuff like that, but like guys that were told you need to gain 10 pounds, and then they would gain 10 pounds, and then they'd be told you need to lose 20 pounds, and it would just be this back and forth game.
Shave your face.
And it happened to multiple people that I know, and it was like it's terrible. And then they wonder why people are mentally messed up and have body image issues. And this is the guys, you know, I can't imagine what they said to the women.
Well, we saw girls get fucking 8 to 10 grand in implants just to try and get signed, and some of them didn't. Some of them went and had the work done and still didn't get fucking signed, bro. So like that, you know.
But again, I also try to take myself out and recognize that, you know, the stuff that happened then doesn't necessarily mean it's still happening now. It's where I don't know, but then I hear a story like this, and it's like you just hope that, you know, you would think that it would be so much easier to say if you and I were a producer and agent to just say, you know, it might have to eat crow and be like, hey, Zach, what's up, man? We really want to do the shoot at your place. I know it's in poor timing and poor taste, but if you let us do it, we'd really appreciate it. And if you say no, we completely understand, bro. You know, and just leave it at that. You know, how much easier would that have been than all this drama now going on and all this bad blood? And then all of a sudden now you're going to have people that want to see you not succeed because you messed with them. Yeah. And it's like, why do you want to create that contempt in people? I don't get that. That just never been my MO. So I don't get that wanting to get people riled up and angry like that.
But they were probably testing her to see if she would do it. You know, like that's the whole thing. And
see where her loyalties, you know, lie. Potentially. You know, I'm not, again, that's speculation, but it does make you wonder.
This story begins to surface just days after, you know, we hear the rumors that she's on the move. And even last night during the takeover special, they show, you know, they make a point and we get a kind of a detailed image there of she has broken away from her agent. So now she's looking to go out and do things on her own.
How good is he? How good is he in 3 seconds? They cut to him 3 or 4 times. He looks like he's been fucking up for days on whatever bender, dude. He's just fucking, he almost looked like he was on Molly. He's stroking the fucking sign and shit, dude. He gets it, bro. Like, that guy's fucking money. He didn't have to say nothing. And just when they cut to him, you're like, I get the whole story, bro, in just 2 seconds. Robbie E is a phenomenal performer.
I would say, I mean, everything that he's pretty much brought to the table, no matter what the gimmick persona he's portraying, I mean, he nails it. He hits it out of the park. As you said, he absolutely gets it. and what he's been doing here, especially teaming up with Chelsea. I mean, he's been phenomenal in that act.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not taking that up to the next level, and that also makes me wonder if they're testing her in some way, because that works. And when something works, you don't break it off unless they have a real need for him there to help, which I could see. But if it was me, I would just say, you're on the main roster and we need you on NXT for the tapings, and we'll pay you double, because we need you to be as good as you are as a character manager for these young kids who can't get over on the mic. And we also think that that's working up there, unless they have something specific. They want to put Chelsea with somebody else,
Knowing that, and I guess Chelsea, she's solid. She's been able to handle herself.
Solid, dude. As a fucking character, as Laurel Van Ness, she was the best fucking thing in 2018, hands down.
Yeah, Rick. Come on, Rick.
In that crazed persona, but as she is right now, she's been able to handle herself. But yeah, she's
sexy as fuck right now. Yeah, she's just a super diva right now who can wrestle and gets it.
I just can't believe Rick Vickery is going to go on the air and just tarnish the name of Chelsea Green.
I know.
Well, I mean, potentially, are they hoping that maybe she does go out there and flop and it's an out for them?
You're just trying to downplay her now because you were all pumped up about Charlotte's big gimmicks last night.
Hey,
now you don't want anybody to beat Charlotte. That's all you care about.
We continue to get through this run here on this morning show. Believe me, there is plenty of precious Shar talk to be had here. I know, Ben, you're going to be over
that
the
word's
top
banned.
about
That
this.
word's
you know
banned.
what?
That
you know
word's
what?
banned too. No more Shar. That's on the banned list with
It explains.
You're killing my gimmick.
It explains the tracksuit. He got so hot and bothered watching Charlotte. He had to put on the tracksuit and he just started running. He hasn't slept since.
He needed the soft pants. He couldn't have the hard pants on.
It'll be just a couple weeks before she makes her appearance here in the Monday locker room with us. So
Charlotte,
dude, she's up north in my other studio. So
no, she's doing a hell of a good job last night in that main event. Those girls kicked ass. I was doing the watch along live, and I go, if you're gonna, Charlotte's there to shine the belt, not the other way around. Like, to shine everybody, the fact that she's there. And now, what's her name, the punk rock chick, Rhea Ripley, is gonna go up to the main roster too. I go, this is where you do the business in the triple threat. Put it on EO right out of the gate, and they did the fucking business the absolute right way, dude. They absolutely did it the right way. So that some people are like, oh, the girls in the main event, after Cross, Tommaso, Cole, and Velveteen, but they delivered, and that main event did business. Now those two girls can go back to the main roster. It doesn't hurt them all, and Io Shirai is protected as the title stays right where it is. That was exactly how I would have. I think the best level of booking. We used to say there's a lot of choices. That's the one you have to go with there, where everybody got elevated there. It was fucking damn good.
Correct. Yeah, you have to look from a show standpoint. Why? What is the last moment you want fans to see? So I would challenge people that say, "Why are the girls in the main event?" What else would you put in the main event? I would not have put the
Blacklock Brawl.
Yeah, the Blacklock Brawl, only because again, it's more. It didn't have the same feel as Io winning the title and having people around the ring. Like, now, I think maybe that I would have a different opinion had it still been an empty arena. But I think even though you could tell some of the cheering was somewhat forced, I think still having the reactions to them during the match helped set the pace. It set the beats for the rhythm of the match, and it made it the right way. And that lasting moment of the show ending with Io as the new champion, all is right in the world. That's what you want to send the people home and happy with, especially during this time right now, because you want a little goodwill going into the following week, and hopefully the ratings will reflect that, but that remains to be seen.
I think, too, just the imagery of, the confetti, the celebration.
I thought that was too much, dude.
See, I was wondering, why didn't we get anything like that at WrestleMania for Drew or anything?
Yeah, because they're just marks for New Japan. Like that, the fact that she won the title and beat those girls was enough. The rest of it was
agree.
It felt like way too much of a setup. They wouldn't have all that shit ready to go. Like, you know what
Right.
I mean? That was
which is to your point, Rick, because you saw WrestleMania, they didn't have the big streamers and everything, but now they're going to do a throwback 90s pay-per-view where they never did that either. but because the Asian woman won, now they were going to throw the streamers.
That was for Jargo to beat up too. That was
they even
it feels a little cheap.
But let's talk about the high. I think there's a lot of good in this pay-per-view and it was fun and it went fast. And screw Strangler Steve for making me watch it because I forgot it was on, so he told me and I had to go watch it. But my favorite part, just because I'm old now, was Todd Pettengill with the no 900 numbers, and then they cut to DX, and they're old dudes on a computer now. They all got Hamin beards and gray, and then like they even had a CRT monitor, a big ass monitor. Like those attentions to detail heighten and make me laugh so much, where it's just, that's how you do a sight gag, that's how you do a throwback. And that segment stood out in entertainment for generationally. That said, hey dude, I know you're 40 to 45 years old, you watched this shit in 90, 91, and now you're sharing it maybe with your kid. We're gonna do something that's right to your fucking heartstrings and pluck them. And then I love little things too, like where Road Dogg's trying to help and then he knocks a sign off and he fucking sells for it. Those are little like Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy bits, Chris Farley bits that I live for. I like those heighten and explore tiny things in a moment, because it was funny enough them arguing and he tries to get in and they all look old as fuck, and then that little thing. Shemp used to be great at those things in Three Stooges scenes, more than almost anybody else would. And that made it for the night for me, just that Todd Pettengill into that. And then I really liked the Cole thing, and in Velveteen, and I liked the main as well. So I got to say, compared to everything else I've been watching, it was a lot better than most of the WWE shit, especially what they did on SmackDown that drew me in and then just kicked me right in the balls in one show.
And I think it goes back to the point I was making earlier, is little things like that goes to show you that they absolutely have some key people there that know what the heck they're doing, and it just makes you question that, why other things fall through when they clearly do have people that can pay attention to those level of details.
Yeah.
I think even a little further there for that nostalgia act you're talking about, bringing generations together. Someone that was there for the first In Your House, now watching with their kids, is the Alfred Hayes-esque ice cream sandwich commercials that they were running.
Yes, yeah.
That's going to connect those two different audiences, and it was a lot of fun. For me, probably the biggest pop throughout the nostalgia was the AOL references.
Yeah, the AOL
chat rooms.
AOL chat, yeah. I love it on there. Like, yeah, dude, that shit is phenomenal. Like because then people have the father's like, you don't know about internet. Well, the kid's on the phone like, yeah, I used to have to. And he does the modem sound. I was doing the modem sound last night on there. Like, all that shit is perfect, like, generationally, if you're going to bring it back. I was kind of hot, though. Like, it was so bad because they got all this plexiglass at ringside, but they couldn't put any in the front of the In Your House set when they threw her through the fucking window. There's no window to break. It's just some fake, gate that swings back and forth. I was like, damn it, throw her. Like, that was the Shawn Michaels through the window spot, right? Like, but no glass. I was just like, sugar
you could
glass.
Even tell that, although he was looking for that enthusiasm, and even he couldn't sell it because he realizes, hey, we just threw him through the plastic framework.
Yeah, it was like, damn it, they missed right there. They needed some sugar glass.
Nope. Now, Beast, I know before we got rolling here this morning, you were talking about it, like you absolutely love the set. So we're talking about the production, the ambiance here. Also, in the open of this thing, we got the live performance. I want to ask you guys about this. Did we need these things? This thing came off as I don't know. It just kind of missed the mark.
What's that?
It was it was a Code Orange that opened up the show with
fucking whatever. And none of them are social distancing.
Live intro.
They all look like they're fucking straight out of the gutter, and none of them are social distanced at all. Like, they're all bunched up next to each other. That fucking popped me. I was like, whatever, dude. Like, that's just a label that bought time for their band to be on there. You know what I mean? And Vince cut a deal with them so they could use their song for it. That's just smart business.
It's maybe like a pre-packaged thing where you can work together with your production team to tie in with the highlights going into the takeover to hype it would, I don't know, be more effective.
Or you do it with somebody debuting and they do their new theme song live. That's how you get it over. You know what I mean? On the way out.
Gotcha. I just know it seemed like it was a slow start. It was a weird start, especially, listening to those over on Facebook and the Hamin media discussion group over in our live discussion. Everybody coming out of the gates kind of like, okay, what the hell is this? Let's get to the action here.
Triple H is the fucking vanguard of heavy metal, and what he says go.
And I'll say I am biased as well in that I am also somewhat. I enjoy all music, but I'm in particular a metalhead, and I thought agreed it was weird that was one of my first thoughts again as medical professional. I was like, they clearly aren't promoting social distancing, but to a degree, I thought it was refreshing to see a live performance again because it's been a while since we've seen one of those. And I think that's more of a taste thing. But I think that's fair of you to bring up, Rick, though, because it goes to show that you have to see How can you entertain the whole of your audience? So if a significant portion didn't like that opening, although I liked it, it doesn't matter. It's like it goes to show, okay, what should they have done in order to make sure everybody's tastes were accounted for? And I guess you can't always do that, but at the same time, in lends credence to it. It was kind of a unique, hard-hitting style song that I don't think would fit everyone's tastes. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's so much, and it just might be
almost made it
the sample group over in with our live discussions here is so many of them you regularly hear like, okay, let's just get to the wrestling,
true,
or let's get to the show part of this thing.
These are always the things I want, like Lars Sullivan or Walter to come out and just kick the shit out of them right in the middle of their song, like, just beat the fuck out of them, throw the kid through the amp and shit like that, But you can't be doing that with rock stars.
Awesome.
I did a spot at the 95 X Fest with Nixon from God damn it, Framing what the hell's the name of their band? Hanley or some shit like that. They're pretty well known, but he's a tiny little dude. And when something like that happens, all you can do is the vice principal or radio DJ spot where you're doing something and I'm going for the Snabbits with the flag. He's on the outside. He pulls the flag. I turn around. What the fuck? Turn back, hacksaw, ding with the fucking 2x4 while the ref's admonishing him with the flag, and out I go, and 1, 2, 3. Actually, it was Dick Justice, but whatever.
Place goes crazy.
Yeah, and the rock star's pumped, and he gets over, and he's protected. You just got to go over it with him 78 times, and then I go, when I look at you and go flag, and when I turn back, give me 2 seconds, count 2 Mississippi, and then fucking pull it, and then
it's a whole other art working with non-wrestlers. And I can say, as someone that's always done the local fundraisers, so I've worked everyone from the principals to the coach to
they always pop the hugest for the coach.
Gym teacher. Yeah, and it's you keep it simple, but those can also be some of the most fun matches you ever had. I mean, you have 1,000+ kids that are screaming for their teacher or their principal or their coach, and it's just and it's awesome. It's cool, but it's a challenge. It can go so wrong in so many ways.
Have you guys ever worked with an individual that just doesn't get it?
Yeah, there's guys like, okay, so I'll tell you 2 stories that are good. So Tony Gunn, he was a teacher, right? He was
he's a gym teacher.
So that one show I came back for, and I think you guys had set it up at his school, and it was Ali and me and versus Tony Gunn and somebody else, babyface over there, and I did the whole promo like, there'll be no more recess, extra homework when we win. I've spoken to the superintendent, not your stupid principal. I went right over his head. They're like, no. Like they're all screaming, yes, no, that's right. More math for all of you. And then out they come. Dude, once they go over at the end with kick stunner and the place goes ballistic. Like it's a mania moment for them when it goes right. Then there's other times where I had a good match with, well, I don't say good, it's Chris LaPlante. He throws a shitty double axe handle. But he's the owner and a great guy of one of the promotions I work for in Canada. And we built to a bunch of shit. I slap him in the fucking face. I build my heat to him. And he's an ex-worker and an ex-semi-pro hockey player. He's a big motherfucker. and he trained under Rip at OVW for a couple weeks. So he does well in Canada. Good dude. But then he's got a guy with him who's like a known hockey guy in the pro leagues, and he's a retired coach. Hell of a nice guy, and he's super excited to be in wrestling. But they're sitting there smiling at me like they're fucking happy, like fans at ringside, when I'm looking fucking death stare at them like, I'll come fucking kill you right now if you don't stop. Look, if you don't stop fucking smiling at me. Like, but they don't know because they're in the moment of like, holy shit, my kid's so pumped to see me in a wrestling show. Where if I got to fucking go over, and I had to grab him by his fucking throat and like really fucking put some fear into him of like, you better fucking sell for me, bro. Like, because otherwise you can't shake them out of that. That's a dangerous thing. And then I also got paired with a guy who's been around a long time, but he's a manager, and he's good for heat, and it's part of the spectacle, like the 80s style in Canada that they still love. But, you know, part of my match, he's going into business for himself, hitting the guy with the weapon and shit, which I'm going over with the weapon. So if you use it beforehand, it means so much less when I go to it later. Instead of just like admonishing and talking shit, some guys you work with, they think they're helping you, but they're fucking really hurting you, and they don't know it till afterwards. And Outlaw, or a badass Bobby Bass, who's a fucking old school ring general, he worked with Rip in the Maritimes and shit. He was in the other guy's corner, and he's the baby face. And I'm in the ring seeing my manager do all this shit on the outside, like get his own shit. And I'm like, fuck, whatever, man. What am I going to do? I'm getting paid either way. It ain't Mania. And I see Bobby Bass, and he's over there. He's like, these guys are working their fucking asses off, and you're over here fucking it up. He's getting hot. I see him going to business for himself, and I've got the heat. I got the hold on LaPlante, and I just look over in the ring. I almost start popping because I see Bass shaking his fucking head, go, motherfucker. He's not even in my corner, but he's getting hot because he knows the heat's getting taken away from where it should be in the focus of the match. The audience don't know that. I mean, they can feel it because their focus is getting split, but they're not looking at it critically like the fucking workers that we are, to be like, my time, your time, here's how we play jazz. And sometimes it happens on here with Manbeast and I. We get excited and we talk over each other instead of trading a little bit, and I'm guilty of it, and because we just are excited about the idea we want to share. And that's what the same thing's going on. Nobody's like, fuck those guys in the ring, it's my time. They think they're helping, but they don't know that they're really hurting the situation, you know? That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, keep it really, really simple.
So,
I worked a baseball coach once. I remember he was like twice my size. So I was like, okay, so here's what we're going to do then. We're not going to do anything. It was a tag team match, and he was on the baby face, the good guy side. And I said, this, every time I'm close to you, put your hand around my neck. And so every time I would talk shit to him, and then I would get close on accident. Then he would do that, and everyone would cheer. And then we just teased that the whole time. And then other than that, he didn't do anything. So we set up the heat, which was your desire, your want, your need to see a certain thing. And in this sense, it was him getting his hands around my neck and killing me. So we set it up that's what we want to see. And then we did everything else with the other wrestlers in the ring, and then set up, traditional, hot tag, baby faces come in, but then the heels get back on top. It looks like they're going to win. And then that's when they make the tag to the coach, comes in, goozles me, the baby faces drop kick, the heels away, one choke slam. Everyone went crazy, go home. That's it. And it was one of the most fun matches, one of the most simple, but one of the most fun, because you see the kids just erupted. But you're right, it can go so wrong in so many ways, especially if they don't know how to move and they try to strong arm, like in reality you want to be working with each other, but they will try to show, like, it's almost like they have a badge, like, I want to show these wrestlers I'm tough, and like they'll like come in and try to really grab you. It's like, like, you're really hurting me, don't do that. It can go awry. And so ideally the fewer things you can have them do and just tease them doing one thing, I've found tends to work best when working with untrained individuals. That being said, the more athletically inclined they are, you can have a little more fun, but you always got to be careful. I remember my tag team partner Revolver, he would get cocky. He'd work with some of these people and work with people that sometimes had a little more athletic knowledge, but then he would start doing false finishes and double downs and stuff like that. And then that's where it got really, they just could not keep up. And it's like there's a certain level where you can only take them so far. unfortunately. But it can be a lot of fun if done properly.
If you have the right crowd and you build to it like that on the hot tag, like he said, and any asshole, like, I'm not saying Stone Cold's an asshole, but like any asshole can go kick, turn, I'll put my chin on there, stunner. And people, they just know it, bro. They just know it, like what it is. Or like you have a dude lay me out and you have the coach, if he's athletic enough, get on the second rope and fucking do the splash or whatever. 1, 2, and like whatever it is. And they're fucking holding off. Dude, the kids, that moment, though, that guy who's a local in their eyes is the biggest hero that you could make, especially on a character like me, to pay something off on a spot show like that. When it goes right, it is some of the best shit ever. There's no doubt about it.
Tremendous stuff. Back to the action here. We talked a little bit about the ladies closing it out. We'll revisit that. But we also had the ladies opening this thing up in 6-woman tag action. Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox. They're taking on the team of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. That's a little fun opener. You're getting the rest of the women's division.
I missed it. That's what I saw. Fucking Strangler Iggy'd me. I was like, ah. He goes, it's a women's shitty 6, which I've been a part of 100 of them in 2CW. You know, not that they're not fun. You can do some interesting things with it, but again, there's no rhyme or reason for it. There's no payoff. There's no stakes. It's an opener to get girls out there and go, see, girls can wrestle in a 6-women. Okay.
Well, I want to ask you guys more specifically about the personas, the characters that we're seeing here. The NXT women's division regarded as one of the best in professional wrestling, if not the best. And this is really that undercard, what they're building up. A few that really jump out here. You've seen catching one of the best talents in the world earn this spot, totally so. But now we're seeing a little bit more fire underneath Mia Yim, especially with her involvement with Lee. Is that the right direction for her? I mean, what would you like to see with her here?
She's main roster ready. She was coming from Impact. She's another one, but she humbled herself and was smart to go, let me go through the program and make them feel like I'm not a star. And she, you know, has been through a lot in this business, more than people who get recruited to go to NXT and become that. She was already grinding hard on the indies and it made her to get a spot on Impact. And you know, she's everything that America should be in you know, having right now what we need in faces of diversity. You know, it's not like she's someone from New Japan who can't be understood. She cuts a damn good promo. You could do something with Gail Kim to bring her back and do something that way. I know that they probably would want to work together. And she gets it, man. She's hip-hop style. She knows... She's Game of Thrones junkie, named her dog Stannis. So, you know, like there's all this stuff that she could pull from. And she's even hip hop gangster. That's what she really likes. She likes that Wu-Tang shit. She likes being street style. Like, I think she's everything that should be. And she can go in the ring. So she could even stay there and have a top feud with Io in I think here in NXT for another 4 to 5 months, and then maybe bring her up around Survivor Series time. I think she let her shine a little brighter now that the other girls are gone, and build her equity. And I think she works safe. She doesn't take a lot of stupid chances. Her strikes all look good, and she doesn't play into like some big Asian like I have to uphold this for my people type fucking thing. She's just a badass wrestler, dude. So I think she's got the most money written on her. Shotzi Blackheart's got money written on her too, but she's going to be fucking in a wheelchair if she doesn't stop that cough and drop shit. She just needs to do character. Look at her, like the everything is just looking at you. The green hair, the funny punk shit. Like you don't got to do all that dumb shit to hurt yourself and prove anything.
Shotzi was the next name I had for you, gentlemen. Even inside that, you know what spoke, you know, the most about her is the vignette they did with the tank. You know, if they just would have pulled the trigger, no pun intended, and actually blown something up, I mean, that would have been completely over the top. She doesn't need anything outside that persona. She has that connection.
What if she just like shooting off fireworks and like riding big wheels and shit around, like fun kid stuff where she thinks she's a badass, you know what I mean? Like even that, like you buy a bunch of Power Wheels and you say yes to that game, and she has a squad, and you do like a rap video, whatever, where midgets and fucking they come turn around the corner and you rib Cody and them like in the trucks and they're fucking rolling by in slow motion. She's got her own little rap video crew, but it's all fucking just fun stuff, man. All Skittles, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of shit. And like, go ahead, let her rip Tekashi.
I love all that.
Yeah.
And because you paint such a colorful picture of that character, I like the idea of having a crew. But I feel like there should be someone in the crew, because this could be a whole other character that could get over. That's like the opposite. That's like the slate that she has to bring up from that more muted level, which that's a whole other game in and of itself. And you can even elevate someone else in a tag team type situation with that too. There's so many possibilities with that picture of the over the topness and just the more turning the volume all the way up to 10, so to speak.
Absolutely. Dude, show them LARPing, all that kind of shit. They just think they're gangsters. In Office Space when they smash the fucking gimmick, right? With and it's all like a gangster scene. Like that's the fucking shit. Like it needs to have that feel like, but it like clowny shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But they take it like they're real G's and they always fucking do it out. So you see them dancing in slow motion, like they're practicing their shit, and then they squat up and they fucking roll out and they're like they take themselves super seriously, but they're like, just a misfit crew of like motherfuckers who don't care, but they think they're Tekashi 6ix9ine in them. They think they're real gangsters, but one punch in the fucking face and you drop Tekashi 6ix9ine in a second, B. So like that's the real deal. Like shit, if she wants to get a face tattoo, do all that shit too, man. I would get a ghostwriter MC for her, do little fucking bits like that are bad hip hop, or you cut to the midget on the big like like that shit, you know what I mean? Up close on them. Look at what was our guys who did the Ric Flair long limousine, Shivani and you know what I mean? Rick, I'll go home with it. Long limousine, Rick. It was we hooked up with them in WrestleZone back in the day. But those guys do like comedy hip hop. That'd be perfect for them to be doing that kind of shit with them, bro. Easy.
Kind of like a modern day oddity sort of deal.
Kind of, but not. Doesn't need to be like, to go off of South Park. Well, I mean, you could.
Would it be like if the Flight of the Conchords had their own group?
Could be. I don't mind the oddities if you did it the right way and looked at it in, like a rib on World Star and hip hop, the Tekashi 6ix9ine, mix in the anime, mix in the Skittles, the bronies, like all that shit can survive in there if you play it serious as fuck, even though it's a complete and total like rib, you know what I mean? Even like that's where you can have like something like DJ Roomba, like come up with something like that from Parks and Rec where they got their own robot buddy and shit like that, you know what I mean? And it's got a wig on it or some shit like that. That's a Vanguard 1 got over. Like they can have their own shit like that too, man. All that stuff is just fun.
Well, absolutely. And you talk about then your merchandise marketing throughout, the involvement, the fan involvement.
Yeah. Think if they had some kind of like one of those RC trucks, but they could connect like a speaker to it and it was like their little thing.
Yeah.
Merchandising, when you talk about, you'll sell the shit out of those.
Yeah. All you got to do is have a little speaker thing on there and
the RC truck boombox. And it's like it
rolls out. Yeah. All that kind of shit, dude. So, there's so much, and they have downtime. This is what they should be doing, is shooting this, not worrying about who gets over in a shitty 6 match, and we see what's the pecking order of who's good in wrestling. Who gives a shit about wrestling? Why does that girl wear a helmet with fucking Viking horns coming out of it? Why does she have green hair? What does it look like when she goes shopping? What is the soundtrack to her life? What does the movie look like through her vision? While whatever Adderall that she's been prescribed since she was 6 years old, what does her fucking world look like? I want to see that shit. Not a fucking coffin drop where 2 inexperienced girls can't catch her and she fucking dumps on her head.
And it goes to that point too. You got to think about what is going to pique people's interest, what's going to intrigue them. And we've seen all the mostly empty arena wrestling that we feel like we can see it at some point. It all blends together. And to that point, so I will occasionally now watch with my wife, who she does not watch regularly, but I think it was telling her reaction. She was going to sit down. Well, she wasn't paying attention, and then the entrances started happening in this match. My wife put her phone down, was intrigued because they were showing character and life, and this is just me thinking through watching her reaction to the show. And then they start wrestling, and about 90 seconds into it, my wife says, all right, I think I'm just going to go take a shower. She completely lost interest because they went from, here are these characters, these over-the-top personalities, and now they're going to do the same stuff you've seen them do over the last few weeks on TV. It's like, to me, I feel like you could have done more with highlights than just having a hodgepodge match. And it's not to say that anything they did necessarily was mechanically bad. I'm not saying that at all. If anything, the match itself was fine, but for doing future business, it really did not do anything.
Who won?
I don't remember.
There you go. There you go. That was the exact answer. So
that kind of threw me off. Is the babies go over here when I thought that really especially as you're defining Candice LeRae as this new heel.
Yeah, whatever. How about this?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
She goes from heel heat.
You don't remember either way.
Yeah, doing goofy stuff. They don't have a plan for yet. How about this? More free creative for you, Shotzi. Shotzi is like a video editor. Like their whole thing is about going viral, right? Whatever their shit is. So Shotzi takes like that coffin bump clip, and she's the video editor. Like when they'll do like oh Black Betty, bam lamb, and like they'll fucking with the beats on some viral clip. What if she starts taking bumps just to make her viral clip something? Like she puts herself at risk to do like something because she knows it's not about the match, it's about going viral afterwards, and she needs that clip to make sure her video my masterpiece is going to be finished. All I need to do is one elbow drop like that. Like she just needs that. Like
actually post it on TikTok,
and then fucking get 3 million views and like
of the finish, or whatever.
But it's all black, blam, blam, and she's got it in her mind. The match don't mean shit. She just needs one shot. She's a director. She's a fucking viral video. You know what I mean? Like that's what drives her. Something like that, where she's gonna get value out of taking those fucking dumb things, and now let's turn it into something a little bit that can get her
and
over.
Then you bring in a TikTok influencer that's truly over and have them interact, and then you've then cross promoted your brand with stuff that is truly on the precipice of society right now when people are paying attention to.
Nia will be hot as fuck.
Yeah, stealing Nia's gimmick. Well, instead of the coffin drop, we got the TikTok drop.
I'm on TikTok.
TikTok drop.
TikTok.
We're talking about some brutal bumps. Our next match, we see Finn Balor go over Damian Priest. The talk in this match is obviously the spot with the steps where Priest takes it hard on the lower back there. I guess it was a little dangerously close to the edge there.
Yeah, but it was good though because like the steps should have been out another foot, so he landed flat. Absolutely, it could have been like taking a fucking ninja sword across the back where he took it, but. This was Rip Rogers 101, even though it's a big spot and unnecessary and still stupid. The threat of violence was much more important than the actual violence itself. I go, they're going to give this cocksucker a razor's edge off the fucking gimmick after they've already killed him. Boop, he goes out. The threat of violence was there. I was like, oh. And then he takes the bump, and it's still ugly, but not as bad as like, I'm going to murder you now. But that was still there, so my gut sank. So that really... The setup for even a bump that's a little less than what it would have been was great, dude, in that. But this match, who the hell is the babyface and who is the heel? Finn Balor looks like $1 million. Chicks want to lick maple syrup off his fucking abs. He's back there getting heel heat on the babyface or on the heel with like strikes and shit, eating him up when he's going to go over. So he needs to be letting that guy get heat on him. And now the heel, again, we fucking say screw black and white cowboy hat conventions that have been drawn since the beginning of the time. He's going to wear shiny, sexy pants, and he's supposed to be the dark heel, but now he's getting fucking the shit kicked out of him. So I go, Damian Priest better be going over if he's getting all this on him. Nope, just ate him up and fucking that was it, bro. Finn Balor's over, Coupe de Gracie, and fucking thanks for coming, everybody. Maybe I'll get back to the main roster one day, but that didn't do much for either of those guys, bro. No heat payoff, and I didn't know who was the heel or baby half the time. So that as athletic and sexy as those guys are, that match was not agented the right way, in my opinion.
Well, you saw the top rope choke slam, immediate cover, 1-2 kick out. I saw that. It's like, well, you've just buried your move.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, and it's such a simple choice of, it's not to say they could have done everything else the same, but it's something simple as that on a subconscious level makes you think, okay, yeah, they must not be that good, because even though it was a big move, they still didn't win with it.
Nope.
Versus he could have done the move, sold around, take your time, and then instead I think they worked up into some kind of corner spot after that. Take your time and work up into it.
Yeah.
And really get on the sell, because that's exactly what happened. It 1-2 kick out, and then he sold. It's like, well,
he
why
walked
wouldn't you
up.
Just go ahead and sell instead of burying your move?
He kicked out, stood
and
up, and
I'm sure from his standpoint, he's probably thinking, I'm strong. Yeah. And it didn't make him seem strong. If anything, it made him come across as weaker, because it's like, okay, you can hit that big shit, and then he kicked out on 2 right away. It's like,
you just
it would have been more if you would have, if he would have grabbed the ropes and worked his way up and been pissed off and then set him up, and then you would have really had the crowd like, oh shit, now he's in peril, versus, oh, he just kicked out, he must be fine.
I said
he
the
literally
same
just
thing.
kicked out.
I said the same thing live, Beast. They
it's
kick
just
out.
little tweaks.
They're so worried about how those guys have put their matches together. They might be great workers and athletic, and I know that Damian Priest is a Monster Factory guy, and Danny doesn't teach spot. But once you get up there and you're working with Finn Balor, that's how him as an indie guy, they go through everything, bro. Every fucking, you go here, I'll go there, this and that, and boom, 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 and yada, 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 up and da, 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 instead of working. And that's when you kick out. All right, kick out 1, go to the corner because I'm coming in. Instead of kick out, sell. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm at the corner. Come up, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not even looking at him yet. Turn around, big air. Turn. Whew. Okay, maybe he's up. Now we're at 13, 14 seconds. Here comes 15. Oh, boom. 16 seconds he hits me in, right? Like, they get there in 3 seconds. So the big shit that they just did and kicked out on don't mean fuck all. And all they're worried about is getting to the next dumbass thing that doesn't mean anything. So now I don't know who the baby or the heel is, because nobody is on the cell. So that this match, as sexy and as fucking athletic as it was really pretty rotten, in my opinion. In the internet,
and I'd say you can take it even further and break it down on, and I think I've talked about this before, on a scientific level, on a psychological level. The human attention span when they're watching a show or a movie, or in this case wrestling, it takes about 5 or 6 seconds after doing something, whether it be a line or whether it be a move, to really register what is going on. So it behooves them to take their time with it, simply because you're giving the audience the chance to take that beat and really internalize what is happening, versus when you quickly go into it, you're not giving people the chance to register, and then all the stuff that you're putting your body on the line physically for doesn't mean what it could. And I don't take anything away from these guys' training. They worked a well executed match move wise, and they are super athletic. And I don't take away from their tremendous talents, but it's more finding these small opportunities and these small choices that could have been made, that could have just brought it up to that next level, and perhaps taken, just a simple, a simple moment, extra second to sell, or a second to or to, instead of going for a cover, taking the time to put over what your opponent did to you. Just making those little choices can mean so much more in the long run and get much more mileage out of what you're doing. So it's more so that because they're so talented and good in the ring, I want to see them get more mileage out of the good shit that they are executing.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what you got to do with these guys to like break them of it. I think you got to go, put your match together. And then 20 minutes before, like, give it to me. Okay, now here's what you're going to do. You're going to cut 3 minutes of spots out of that, and you're going to sell for those 3 minutes. I don't care where you do it. Now go back to and edit it, because you got 20 minutes before you go out there. If you do all that, we're going to have problems. I want you to sell twice as much and bump half as much. Now, that's what you need to do, because that's the only way you're going to break them, because you're not going to tell them that beforehand, and they'll still put the match together the way they want to, and they think they're doing it. You got to let them put it together and then edit them down to chop their legs out from underneath them, so their plan goes out the window, and like the 16 other things, and they keep the same time, but now they don't have nearly as much to fill.
I feel like they all need to and it was you and I had repeated this in Rip's class all the time. He did the heat drill, and it was a really good drill, and where it's literally the purpose of it is you have 2 minutes to get as vicious a heat as possible on the other person across from you. Here's the catch. You have to do it in as few moves as possible to get the most mileage out of it, and you cannot do the same move twice. And you can't slam. It has to be all different kinds of strikes or eye rakes or what have you. And you have to be as vicious as possible. And if you can get to the point where you can be vicious and get the most mileage out of the fewest amount of moves, 9 times out of 10, it looks way better and a lot more believable than taking a neck bump on the side of the ring or something crazy like that. And we'll get to that later, I'm sure. But it's
just
like,
hook a guy in a cravat.
Taking that little extra time to get mileage.
Nobody hooks it like when Von Lyos would grab a cravat on somebody and fucking snap it, and he's so big and his arms look like baseball bats like around your fucking throat, you know, like pulling it, and then he'd fucking look around and give you one boom headbutt. Like, dude,
and then he would sell. And then he would sell.
Yeah,
and then he put his head down. And then it was you know, looked like a struggle.
Yeah. And that eats up 20, 25 seconds right there. Go over, sell to the corner, get up, fucking come back in again. You know what I mean? Then you can grab a fucking arm pump, whatever you want to do. Let him sell down. Headbutt to the arm later, whatever. But
and there were little moments on this show where you did see people take a little bit of extra time. Yeah. And I'll go to, like, for instance, I thought Gargano and Keith Lee in particular did a good job of their pace. There were some things in there that we could get nitpicky about, but there was a couple really nice. There were a couple really nice sells in there that I thought this is and it's where, like, I really wish, you know, like, you know, I could just even as a consulting day to sit there and just pause and say, this is what we're trying to illustrate. Like this type of selling is just, it just takes it from having a B+ to an A+. It's like, it means that much in the course of telling a story.
Beast, let's go ahead and make that transition. You mentioned there Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. They had the most time allowed here. They had the longest match of the evening, going just a little above 20 minutes here. And as you said, you know, they had some storytelling. Even going into the build here, you had Gargano targeting certain body parts, knowing that, you know, he's taking on this giant. He's going to have to break him down. So your overall thoughts on this one?
Overall, I thought it was really good. There's some nitpicky stuff where literally I'd probably have to sit down with tape and point out things. One of the biggest things, though, is as I feel like Gargano is a hell of a talent, I don't think he quite knows where his heat is yet, if that makes sense. And by that, I mean, he goes back and forth between wanting to play the holier than thou type thing. And I know we talked about why was he wearing the white. And I did hear during his little video vignette him saying something about it being a fairy tale ending or something like that. So I like playing up the fairy tale, the white knight in shining armor. But then when he turns around during the match and yells at the fans or the people at ringside, to me that's a different character than what he's portraying backstage. To me, like Johnny Gargano, holier than thou, when instead of yelling at the people ringside, would say, hey, you know, how about that? You know what I mean? Because to me, he's trying to endear himself when he's in that character backstage versus what he's actually doing in the ring. So I feel like that, and it's a small thing, again, well-worked match, but I feel like just a small thing of knowing where your heat is and how your character should always be trying to portray themselves. That means just as much as you know, the actual physical moves you were doing in the ring too.
Yeah, he could go over and stunt right at the glass there, and like if he had Keith Lee down for whatever, usually I think a guy like Gargano, which I don't think he should be a heel because he's too good of a seller and he's too sexy as well, body wise. He needs to be doing like the old Toro with the bull with Keith Lee, drawing him in where the ring takes him out. You know what I mean? Drop toe hold into the steps, and then while he's down, he goes over and poses by the plexiglass when the camera follows him right to it and be like, I'm on this side, I'm a star. Those are students over there. Like, you know what I mean? To be better and separate himself a little bit more of like, this is where the stars, and then go over and then boom, get a little heat, more heat on him. But Keith Lee, I saw money on, since he kind of came in, and then we saw him at the Royal Rumble, and he really stole the show there with Brock. Brock really helped get him over, and he's been on a good tear since then, but I was a little shocked at the COVID-15. Obviously, he's a big man. It's tough to keep the weight off, but here's a guy who had the shot at the Royal Rumble. I thought he'd be hungry as hell to get back up there on the main roster, and now he had 15 pounds to lose then. Now he's got 30 to lose because Vince ain't going to put him on the road looking like that. I like that he did the Black Lives Matter thing after the controversy. That kind of puts it all to bed. Nobody's going to say shit to Keith Lee about anything that he wants to say or not, and that's a good step up, guy to step up and be like, I'm doing it, and nobody's gonna say shit. And if anybody wants to help me out or get in line, then by all means. But it doesn't feel like a Nation of Domination move where they're trying to pull and push anything that way. It just felt like a solid statement, and it didn't overshadow the match at all. It got the good press that it needed to on Twitter, and this was a good match. I just don't like massive guys working 60-40 with a guy his size, especially when we've seen Gargano so much better on the cell than that. So, but there's these Gargano's really great, so he was going to get a good match out of him either way, man.
Absolutely.
So you bring up a good point there, Big, because over on Facebook and Hamin Media discussion group, so many of us are like, you need big stars for the red and the blue, and Keith Lee screams that all the success, the reaction he gets from the audience. So many of us are believing, hey, you need to be figuring out how to get him involved, especially with SmackDown, and start priority booking to get him versus Braun Strowman into a program. So you think it's just the body?
I think here's and Stevie laid this out in the Raw and SmackDown review. Apollo Crews had a tough time getting over, and the scripted words they keep putting in his mouth are terrible. If you're going to put and do something with Black Lives Matter and really talk about the conversation or frame it in a positive way, then you have Apollo Crews saying he's going to defend this title every week, and it's about competition, any race, any size man, anybody who wants to do whatever. And you come out and have a straight-up match with a white guy. Afterwards, they shake hands and get it over. That's a way you can bring him up there, and you could do a best-of series if you wanted to with them. But I'm telling you right now, he's got to get in better shape because as soon as Vince sees him, he's going to be like, I can't have him on the main roster looking like that, bro. Even though Owens wears a shirt or whatever, Keith Lee could lose that weight and still look like a heavy guy who's like he did at the Royal Rumble. He needs to be 15 pounds lighter than that, and then he can get a good run on the main roster. But coming up looking sloppy is going to bury him, dude.
And although mechanically towards the end of the match it didn't look sloppy, I felt just watching his facials and his mannerisms, you could tell that the fatigue was setting in, and at least from a performance character standpoint, the Keith Lee persona started to go away. It was more of he was trying to keep his wind and be in the match.
There, dude.
And you know that, and it's not, and I've been there too. It's nothing to be ashamed about, but at the same time, if you're competing for a main roster spot, that's the time when your conditioning has to be on point. You can't go from being in character to being trying to catch your wind. Unfortunately, little shots like that, it's just like you said, Ben. It just takes one camera shot for Vince to see like, oh, he looks like he's blown up, and I'm not saying that's enough to break, his career, but at the same time, it could one visualization like that that takes you out of this Keith Lee as a monster persona is enough for them to say, well, maybe he's not the monster that we needed him to be after all.
Because Vince is thinking,
unfortunately,
Vince is thinking this big bastard versus Brock at Mania, yeah. So you can't give him. You have to be thinking that I need to be looking like I want to face Brock at Mania every fucking day, and so Vince has that in his mind, and I got to be able to fulfill that vision. Coming out doughboyed up is cute for NXT, but it don't mean shit when it's time to be the top guy, which he could be. He very well could be the top guy in 2 years if he put in the work and fucking really got his diet down.
And let's be clear, you're not saying he needs to get like abs or anything like that.
I want a big fucking strong dude, but you look at him now and you get a little hee, you're going to put your finger in for fucking inch and a half, and I'm a fat fucker too, but he needs a Rip Rogers in his ear. Keith Lee, you big fat cocksucker, get down there and fucking do some cardio, goddammit. Put that White Castle down, get your ass in the gym. Like, he needs that. Not that he's not a big, strong bastard, but the camera's going to add 10 pounds, so you got to make sure it's even less. Troy,
one of those situations. If Rip Rogers had him, he just put him in the ring and have him drop kick everyone one at a time.
yeah.
You laugh, but I've seen it happen. It usually was the biggest guys that Rip would make. Drop kick, and literally you'd go through 40 guys and talk about being blown up afterwards.
Puking over.
But you do it enough times, and eventually you stop getting blown up. You put the work in. Like what we're gonna say about Troy Knoll throwing up the bits.
Troy with the hits. Troy with the bits, getting his 5K bits badge, man. Troy, you're a fucking superstar, bro. Appreciate you with all the Russo brand support, all the Broasters coffee support. I know you're loving it. Everybody who's bought it has been a return customer, and I'm got to work with them this week to get the 5-pound bag going. They just had some shipping issues to make sure they can fill orders before we do it. So we're working on that, but appreciate all the bit cheers, all the subscribers, everybody who's been tuning in to all the shows here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, whether it's locker rooms, the conspiracy shows, the watch alongs, whatever we've been doing, man. Appreciate you guys.
Some big bits, bits of play. Ben, you were putting this over. You enjoyed it. I love the setup in this thing. Just the imagery of it, how, we just from the very get-go, I'm talking about the NXT Championship match, the men's championship match. Adam Cole goes over on the Velveteen Dream. And unfortunately for the Dream, he will no longer be able to challenge for the NXT Championship. Wyatt is in the possession of Adam Cole.
I mean, this was done well, but they stole it from the New Jersey Indie. IWC, who was going to do the first drive-up show, so they did it first. I could have used some cameos in this. That's all it was really missing, dude. Like, who could they have gotten that would have been like
enjoy the Uber driver cameo?
Yeah. There's a couple that I like to see the realness of it, where you'd see the production crew in the shot, like sometimes and shit like that. I thought that added a lot to it. Adam Cole kind of saying I got a small pecker by showing up in the biggest truck. I didn't think that was necessary, but it was cool. They're hucking the chairs out of the back, the ECW style. Yeah, I really go ahead.
I like the cameo thing. It actually gets me to thinking. I don't think they would have done it, and you can only do it with someone that would have volunteered. But I feel like if they would have called around, surely one of the recently released individuals they could have had driving the Uber, be like, "I'm out of work."
Yeah.
Well,
what's his name with red hair? Heath Slater would have been perfect for that, bro.
I got kids, and then he just drives away. It's like perfect.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Why not? Why not that? There was a lot of good in this. Even the match was solid from what they did brawl wise. Slamming him on the car. I was like, if it was me, I would want to do it as a rib. I was like, we got 2 rental cars with full insurance. Let's fucking go in on them, bro. And then we'll go return them with smashed up shit, and we'll see how fucking well they do. So for like $580, you could have probably got 2 cars fully loaded and fucked them up and then walked away from it, and it would have looked good. I'm hoping that they did that trick.
And I actually want to see that footage on Raw the next night.
Why not,
Whoever's
dude?
responsible for returning that to the
Why
to
not,
the Enterprise,
bro?
or whatever the hell it is.
That's good stuff right there, right? Like, that's even good
Regal,
network.
I think Regal could play that up easily. He's always good at the comedy bits of him going to the rental car and be like, listen, and just trying to talk through it with them.
Yeah, dude, so good. That would be phenomenal stuff. Or DX has to go return them, Road Dogg, and there's more opportunity there. But here's the thing with this, and not that he went under because of it, because Adam Cole's got money written all over him. There's no doubt about it. But we still have had no update on anything with the Velveteen Dream controversy, with the sexting of minors, male and or female. I mean, I don't really know the in and out of it. And then there was another thing where there was something back in February where there may have been some vandalism thing that he was involved with randomly that was part of us on the sheets. I mean, these is all hearsay. I don't know. I haven't done any.
Back in the day, he smashes a windshield.
Yeah.
They actually use Adam Cole to smash a windshield here. And then, ironically, what does the Dream in this match? A dick shot.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I was going to say, what's the fucking That's good dick shot. That is funny, dude. There's a lot there. Then underneath it. I missed that because I was like, let's see if his low blow is better than the one I did on Pimentel, and it wasn't. He does the up one. I like the fucking straight arm China one. That one fucking is way more believable than this fucking up hook. Because if you're gonna fucking punch a good guy, you're gonna uppercut him in the fucking nuts. I'd rather give him the baseball bat shot. Fucking.
I like that. I never thought about that.
China's is way better, dude, than most people's. And mine was better than Adam Cole's or Valentine's. But yeah, dude, I think the punishment and whatnot and the underlying shit was in there. I got that with the fucking through the windshield shit. But the dick shot, that's funny too, and not funny at the same time. So nothing ever came of it. WWE paid somebody off, swept it under the rug. What's going on? I don't know.
Beast.
And again, to echo what Ben's saying, I don't know the situation on the updates on that, and that's where I don't know. It leads me to believe that perhaps this is a way from a storyline perspective to take Velveteen off for a while until those things are cleared up. I don't know. Again, this is pure speculation, but it leads me to think that possibly that may be from a storyline perspective a way that they're accounting for that in case they receive news that certainly they.
Well, I guess inside of that there were
want to hear, and honestly, I don't think
there was ever charges officially filed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's hearsay. Somebody might have went away for money. Yeah. Dude, if Jamie Noble can get you out of a DUI in an hour and 20 minutes, he can fucking get your sexting fucking problem done, bro. Jamie Noble just has a fucking briefcase full of payoff cash. That's all. That's his whole job now.
Yeah, man.
He's got that Jimmy Snuka briefcase.
Yeah. Idiot, go get the bail bondsman.
We've also got, which to me, I mean, this was moving on from that. We go to the next match here. I mean, this is just chilling. I mean, this is what professional wrestling's supposed to be all about here. This is Karrion Kross taking on Tommaso Ciampa. Domination. Since joining NXT, I haven't seen anybody dominate Ciampa like this. And it's absolutely what it needed to be, correct?
All except one thing. That, dude, we're banning buckle bombs, but you're going to give a guy who's had fucking surgical neck repair a fucking apron bomb? He got his arms up, but I don't give a shit, man. That's where threat of violence, especially with Ciampa. And I got hot last night. It turned my stomach because I like both of these guys a ton. Kross, trained by Disco, and he also puts over the short time he had with Rip, opened his eyes more than anything else in wrestling. And obviously Tommaso that's Kross, and obviously Tommaso, fucking our OVW brother who busted his ass in Ring of Honor and to get there, and then all those bumps caught up with him. And when I saw him, I had a good time with him, but I also had to take a minute and chew his ass to be like, dude, you want to be walking at your daughter's fucking graduation one day, bro. And since he's had his neck surgery, he's been fucking power bombed on the back of his neck on the goddamn fucking announcer's table. He took a kryptonite crunch off the fucking top of a cage through a table, kick out. Then he took this fucking thing, a power bomb on the apron, all fucking whiplash and neck shot stuff right where he shouldn't be taking it, full body for no reason. That was a transition thing on the outside, just a violence move, bro. That could have been get out. He fucking goes up and over, turn around, pushes Kross in. Kross comes back out, ducks under. He comes back in and fucking drop toe holds Kross right face first into it. Kross and get his hand up and bump. But at least we get the threat of the fucking buckle bomb or the apron bomb so you can out wrestle it. If anybody deserves that or should be taking care of him, it's fucking Tommaso, bro. And guys are letting him, and I love the guy a fucking ton. Both these guys are the best on the NXT roster, in my opinion. But that shit, there must be a standing order. They love their little signs on the fucking wall backstage. Gorilla position this way, this office that way, whatever. There needs to be a sign. Nobody fuck with Tommaso's neck ever again. That's rule one of wrestling, because he will obviously say, yeah, dude, I want to do it for the moment. And he's not in his right mind of thinking 20 years down the road. And as a producer or anything like that, that's got to be how to take care of our performers to protect them from themselves. That's rule number one. Because if a guy is doing this over and over again, you're obviously not learning shit from Dark Side of the Ring and Owen or anybody the fuck else, right, of what can go wrong like that. So why would you do that with a talent who hasn't had neck surgery even to start with? Then there's one that has, and we're doing it multiple times in 1 year. Somebody needs to get regulated on big time, bro. But this match, aside from that, was fucking absolutely right. Yeah.
It's one of those things that makes me wish, like, and there's no actual role for this, but one of the things that amongst the million hats that I'd wear at OVW was just keeping guys from doing stupid stuff like that when they're going over their matches. And I know they always go over their stuff, ahead of time. So it's like, why isn't there someone back to say, hey, that's not gonna, there's that risk is not worth the reward. Let's find another way that we can get the most out of it without doing that. Like there should almost be like an injury consultant. I'll sign myself up if they want to, but like the little things where say, okay, the risk, like the spot with the stairs. I know you said it wasn't too bad, but me watching it, I didn't like that either, because it's like a simple, just setting it up, and emphasizing that could have made all the difference. Unfortunately, I don't think Damian Priest got hurt, but he very well could have, because he hit his low back in such a small area. When you reduce the amount of surface area that's hitting the ground beneath you, in this case, those steel steps in that smaller area of his back, like if you think of when Shawn Michaels hit his back on the coffin with Undertaker way back in the day, and how much that fucked his back up. You hit a small area of your body on a small area, it's going to hurt. It's just taking a little extra time to set up and prevent can go a long way in preventing a lifetime of dealing with an injury. So it makes me wish, and again, I'll throw myself up. Send me an email, bookthedoctor@gmail.com. I'll gladly consult on anyone, either guys privately or as a company. Any way I can help prevent guys from getting hurt, I'm all about it. And to me, it was not worth the price of admission for Tommaso or anyone to do that. I don't think that move personally should be one that they should do. We've seen Tommaso take it so many times already. So to your point, Ben, it's already been set up. So for him to reverse it or find a way out of it, the threat of it would have meant so much more. And it would have made sense, because we have seen Tommaso end up in that predicament in the past, to where I don't think he needs to take that move anymore for that very reason. And not to mention the biggest reason being his neck.
Yeah, and we just banned the buckle bomb this week. So why the fuck would you think it's proper to be doing apron bombs? Oh, I'll show them. Yeah, they didn't say no apron bomb bans. Get it out there.
Then how long will Cross and Scarlett stay in NXT? How long is that going to run? I mean,
I'd say SummerSlam, at least till SummerSlam. Let's build until then. And there's so much money written on them. And to be honest with you, I don't think Scarlett, like I said, I like that they put them together. That she did the theme song and she's kicking ass and working her ass off to be dark. Bro, there's just so much money written on her. I mean, she's a one, like, you don't want to say, oh, it's going to be a Sable and Merrill thing, because Cross is a fucking superstar as well. But keeping them together, you're only getting half the fucking value. They shouldn't. I don't think they should be together on the main roster. She's got that much. If you're flipping through the channels and you see her, that's like Jenny McCarthy and Pam Anderson back in the day. We haven't seen talent like this in a while that's fucking channel stopping, fucking, I don't care what's going on. Let me just see how hot this girl is. And then Cross, when you see him, he's a fucking walking Jason Statham 007 villain, Bond villain. You know what I mean? Like, you can't not take your eyes off him, and he totally plays at a high level. And if you can get $2 million a year out of them, or $20 million out of them together, you can get 40 to 50 million out of them separated, because they're both got that much money written on them.
Is it almost a case of, because they are even individually together their money, individually their money, is it to keep them separate so that you're not forced to have to choose one?
No, I just think that they're both strong enough players on their own. Her sex appeal is so strong that in Cross's world of fucking apocalypto, it's toned down. She's a succubus, a Medusa, but she's so hot that, like, there's way more money in bikini sales, total divas, seeing her on the beach, fucking luring guys in. Then maybe Cross comes out of nowhere and fucks them over. But even then, I don't think tying them together is necessary.
It's also a case of, too, like, when you're looking at someone like her, you don't want to be constantly reminded, yeah, that's her badass boyfriend right there, too, that she's already spoken for.
And they're already going to and not that Cross doesn't take care of his business and whatnot with her, But they're going to fuck it up, just like they did Aleister Black and fucking Zelina Vega by going into business for themselves, or they're going to be exposed on some TV show where this is real life and they're together, da-da-da-da-da. And like, now she's rooting against her husband in the ring, making stupid ass faces while she's supposed to be the Latino queen, right? Like, keep them separated, protect your business. Cross is smart enough. And once the money starts rolling in, dude, like with her, she'll be a star, bro. Absolutely. And she's got to, and with women that are that sexy, they got to get it while they're young. They got to get it. Mickie James is still sexy as hell, but they've marginalized her, right? Now that she's a mom and whatnot, and probably the best worker on the roster even still super hot. But right now she's in that window to be the pretty young thing. Get your money, young girl.
Oh, Mickie James I think it was like last week, she released a TikTok of her jumping on a bed. I probably watched that thing for like 3 hours.
Dude, she's
easy, Rick.
She's
the
sexy
form, you know, it's that form. She's getting back in that ring shape. That's what I was studying there.
All right. You say so.
We'd already kind of touched base on the.
I heard
ODB's
hard on the diet and shit too, and said she's gonna do a sexy photo shoot for summer too. So you better watch yourself, man.
Hell yeah,
you'll be jumping on the bed too. Bam. Go ahead.
Hey, one hell of a barbecue. Hell yeah.
Let's do it. One more story. Let's get out of here. What's going on?
Well, we got just to close it out, just to revisit it real quick here. We talked a little bit about this. Io going over. She is your new NXT Women's Champion. I think maybe one of the biggest stories here I wanted to close with here is a Charlotte headline. Yeah. And she just in a recent interview that she would like an opportunity to challenge for a men's championship. Yeah. Come on, you guys couldn't buy Charlotte versus Adam Cole.
Why would you say that after you saw how terrible the Impact experiment with it went, and now they're gonna have to strip her, put it on Moose. The fact that she's got probably 40 grand in plastic surgery in her face. So who's going to do anything where they can tee off and punch on her to start with? It's going to have to be a technical wrestling match. So that right there is going to limit it way down. Otherwise, it's got to be a comedy embarrassment type thing. And then a guy's got to get out wrestled, out quicked by her just to get over in a title match. And then that means a heel needs to come in and get heat on her. So somebody's got to stomp her out right after that. It just is a bad idea, dude. I don't know why after the Tessa failures, they think this is a smart thing to do for the women's revolution. The pendulum is swinging back. The Me Too movement is getting its legs kicked out from underneath it for wanting to virtue signal way too much. Not saying she's not a competent wrestler, because I watch Serena wrestle all the time versus Jamin or whoever, and she wrestles just like the guys, and yeah, she can. But if you're talking believability where it comes to a heel getting strikes, dude, no, it's not right in the story of wrestling. It has nothing to do about sexism or what have you. We're here to create a reality where the suspension of disbelief is there within some parameter of rules. When you do this kind of shit, it breaks it all for a social justice bullshit thing that ruins it long term. And then we go back and go 2 years from now, wow, we never should have done that. That set us way the fuck back for some stupid in the moment little trend thing that was going to be a fucking headline catcher. When you're at 1.6 ratings, you cannot afford to fuck around with dumb little things like this. It needs to be shut down. If anybody was going to do it, it'd have to be Nia Jax. That's the only woman that would be believable to come in and do something on a champ to beat him. And she's not going to beat fucking Apollo Crews or mid-card. It'd have to be on like a Sami Zayn, who's a chicken shit heel, and she goes over on him as a comedy win, and then she's got it and then drops it in some battle royal or something like that, dude. Like, this never will work out properly. I've tried to book this in my mind 50 ways a Sunday to try and get Tessa over. And once I saw Elgin and fucking Eddie Edwards punching her in the face, ping-ponging her back and forth, I was done, bro. Like, there is no saving that shit. They're delusional if they do that. And that means they'll probably do it.
Beast?
I've said it before, and I echo what Ben says. It comes down to how you do it. You also wouldn't have Rey Mysterio take a punch from Brock Lesnar and then stand right back up from it. It just goes into what is, believable in real life and what isn't. And, when you cross that threshold to where it's, you even have just one instance where your believability is taken away, that can mean everything. I remember as a kid, the thing that made me not watch WCW is when I saw Lex Luger do a run in and go to punch someone and saw about 3 feet of space between his fist and the guy's face, and the guy took a bump, and my 12-year-old self said, okay, well, this is phony. This is clearly phony. Not even though it's all phony. At the end of the day, as soon as you take people out of it and draw them out, that you potentially have just lost a lifelong customer, because they no longer can hold that and escape into that reality when they want to watch wrestling, because you took them out of that fantasy world that you're trying to create whenever they tune in and watch what you're doing.
Ultimately, they're looking at it as equality, but it's devaluing what the women's division is, where it should stand on its own and be proud to represent that. Anyway, Ben, send it home, man.
Yo, man, another good Monday locker room. I'm glad we're getting these high-level talks, and anytime we can talk Al Barone, I'm always down to do that, man. So good times, great oldies, as always. It's like I said, going to be a big week here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, booking a lot of big-name guests, so make sure you're subscribed and you got the following messages turned on, because you never know when we're going to go live and who's going to be on the other end. Probably going to produce the Hamin from yesterday with star maker Kenny Bolin. Been Hamin in character there for a while, so it was a good time just catching up with him and leading along the way, getting a couple good ribs in that way. Thanks to everybody for the ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin sales. This week and next, we're just grinding until me and Man Beast are going on vacation, man, hitting the beach, and we'll be coming to you live from the COVID arena down there in Florida. Should be a good time, dude. Beast, what do you got going on this week, man?
Well, I got a myriad of different shows. If you haven't seen it yet, I did interview my former tag team partner, Adam Revolver, if you go to Facebook on the Barn Burner Network, you'll see it up there. And then next week on Barn Burner from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have Tony Gunn on there. He currently is the OVW Heavyweight Champion. He's been working around for a long time, from the old Memphis territory up to Louisville. He's had some shots with Impact and has done a really good job on the indie scene. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before we'll see him make it to one of the rosters. He's technically really, really sound as an in-ring performer. So looking forward to doing a deep dive with him. Of course, we have the Next Level NXT review. Hopefully Mondo will be ready to go after his dental work last week, and I'm sure you never know who might be doing a run-in on the Impact attack. I'm working on trying to get myself booked there, so whatever way I can get into character and find, it's all about finding the right group now, and you'll see each week I'm trying. Last week I was extra medium, Ted McNaylor, trying to join XXXL. Haven't gotten the phone call, but hey, we still got time. I might still get that phone call, but we'll find out.
I feel like the stars are lining up, Beast. It's going to be the Deaners. The Deaners just haven't been able to get to the payphone. They haven't gotten a ride to town yet. When they get a ride to town. That makes sense. Yeah, that's the big thing, man. But love having Man Beast on all these shows with us, and obviously the OVW Classic Viewpoint always brings me back to a very awesome creative space, whether it's with you or Silvio on Light the Fuse. Appreciate all that veteran insight, and also to keep me from getting too hot and calm me the fuck down sometimes. But
that's right. I like to poke the bear sometimes, though. Yeah. Sometimes it is fun to get you riled up.
We'll do it today. Claws out, buddy. What do you got going on? White Claws, or you got study time? What's up?
This week, nothing as exciting as you gentlemen, just working away as usual. But at some point, I'm going to sit down and record myself trying to eat 100 chicken nuggets.
Oh,
so keep an eye out for that at the Real RBV.
All right, guys. He's going to be, he's our foodie as well. He's going to be doing that 4th of July hot dog eating competition. We're getting some extra special stuff lined up there. I know he's got that in. So maybe he's in training here. If he's dipping them in water, he might be getting ready.
I saw a picture yesterday I had shared for my delicious of the day, and it happened to be it was like 96 chicken nuggets on a tray, and as I'm sitting there staring at it, like, you know what, I'm going to try this. You ever to Wendy's, it's only $20. What the hell?
Why not, man? And if it gets the viral video going and whatnot, and I'm sure Man Beast will have some recovery advice for you after you're done puking your guts out on how to feel a little bit better. You can follow him at Ted the Man Beast, at The Real RBV at bin_Hamin on Twitter, infidels at Hamin Media Group on Instagram for all the great video clips that we got coming out here. And check out Russo's brand YouTube and check out mine for the best of words of wisdom from the Al Barone. Forget about it. Welcome to professional wrestling. YOLO!